Hi, I'm Logan with Dad Bod Pepper Company. Super excited to announce a collaboration between the Dad Bod and Paranormal Patio. We've come together to put a sauce, their name on it, our spooky garlic, a new variation of it. Same recipe, but this is branded for them. Should be available through their website as well as our own, dadbodpepper.com, where you can also find all sorts of other cool things, such as nice swag, little hat, and other sauces.
All of these.
Yep.
Lots.
Hot sauce, we have Carolina Reaper, Cajun, garlic, ghost, and our Bloody Mary mixes. So you can find all those on dadbodpepper.com. Take credit card, PayPal, all sorts of stuff. But come check us out.
I guess my take on it is I have that part in my mind too. Like, is this true or is this not true about, aliens or out to get us? Or are they not?
In a subtopic of the conspiracy on a conspiracy. According to my research into extraterrestrials in the last 6 months anyway. So that leads up to January of 1967. In 2 months, you've got over 25 reports of people seeing this thing in this small town. And how much of that is mass hysteria, or if you go looking for something, you're going to find it, or is it genuine phenomena? Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean,
but everybody describes the same thing. These red eyes are a recurring theme in all of these reports. And I'm not going to go through all the reports because, one, they're very similar, and two, it's going to take up a lot of time. So
we were in the closet, which is known a lot of bad things to happen in this closet. And we were in there, and I had this male voice in my head that said, get out of this closet. So I took a step out, didn't bother to relay that to Teresa, who was sitting on a chair at the very back of the closet. And when I say closet, it's like a big walk-in type closet, not just like a little old closet. So she's sitting on a chair, running the spirit box at the same time, and it said, shut this door. And of course, we didn't do any of this. So next thing you know, all of a sudden, Teresa comes launching out of the closet with the chair about 4 feet out.
I totally wasn't down to go hang out at the dollhouse all night because I'm I'm a security cat, and I was like, I don't want to do that. That sounds like crazy. The scarier thing was that they all decided to, so I hung out next to the car, like, by myself. I don't know how long they were gone. It felt like maybe about 20 or 30 minutes or so, but I was just kind of chilling and, like, on my phone, All of a sudden, like, I just was looking up and kind of browsing, like, the tops of the gravestones, or the tombstones. Something just kind of caught my eye, and it kind of moved from behind one gravestone to another. And it didn't look like really solid. It looked kind of like a shadow sort of thing, but it moved behind from one to the other, kind of right to left. I was like, that's just my eyes playing tricks on me, or like the light reflecting off cars driving by or whatever. Then like I was kind of looked back down at my phone and then was just glancing to see if they were coming back or whatever. But I'm just going to call it thing or shadow or little Hellier-esque goblin creature, whatever, like kind of peeked over the headstone, like, and I could see its eyes. It was like these eyes they were either yellow or red. Like I said, I'm kind of bringing things back to memory.
Anita 4, after returning from the edge of space, there's something strange happening beneath the surface of Antarctica, and it's got nothing to do with Nazi UFOs. So,
wow.
Okay.
Let's blow that first theory right out of the water.
So we're just blowing things there.
Skirted around the Ohio River until we came to Smithland, Kentucky. A town that I had never been to before, didn't know it existed. It was a small, quiet little town. And we turned toward the river after passing a few side streets, and I was in shock. Because at the end of the road, on the west, sat the very house I had flown around in a dream just 2 years ago. Now, though I never dwelled on that dream, I just remember it like profoundly because it was such a unique dream. And the house was a very unique house, and here it sat.
Yeah, all of these things happen in the client's mind, and I'm a guide, and it's you that's got to open the door But at the same time, it is remarkably easy to manipulate people, even unwittingly at times, to experience emotions and memory, even physical sensations and unwanted thoughts in a way that they did not intend to. And it can radically change their day. And you don't even have to be a hypnotist to do this, but I think a hypnotist has a certain ethical responsibility to be careful with their words, especially with clients, people who have paid you and they trust you to help them, not to do that unwitting damage or steer them in the wrong direction.
Well, I wish I knew what was going on. I mean, this is a phenomena that's kind of, it's kind of come and gone, waned back and forth, but it's been fairly steady now for at least 4 years.
But he would never speak for what happened to the boys the last night, and he said that's their story to tell, and when they're ready to tell it, they will tell it. But for him, the last night, he could hear the bedposts upstairs in the boys' room, jumping up and down, banging. He realized that he was paralyzed, and he couldn't move. Their dog Harry would stand up at the foot of the bed, spin around in a circle, throw up, lay down, stand up, spin around in a circle, throw up, and he just kept doing it. And he was paralyzed. He couldn't get up and help him. And at that point, Kathy had kind of changed form. She had kind of appeared as this old woman, but she also started to levitate up off the bed and to float away.
When I was talking about these orbs of light, they started coming towards the car, so I said, let's go. So we were backing the car up, and then my friend who owns a bed and breakfast down in that area, he had to get something from the back of the SUV. So he parks the car as these orbs are coming towards us still in the sky, and they're like maybe 10, 15 feet from the car now. And they're just moving around like I said, like something out of a movie that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And my friend next to me, poor thing, she was crying because she was terrified and she had no idea what was going on. And we both looked in the rearview mirror and we saw a tree that was next to the car. And we noticed that it wasn't a tree. It was a being of some kind, because it bent over and looked down into our windows of the car. This thing was at least 10 feet tall. And all I can explain it as is like the grays that you hear of when people see aliens.
Yeah.
It was like a gray, tall being, skinny as can be, huge hands and long arms with a big head. And it was peering down into the vehicle. We couldn't see its face because it was pitch black here.
St. Louis is Cahokia. And this is another fascination of mine, is a lot of the haunted places are around these mounds. And that just opens up a new doorway of conversation here, and down the rabbit hole we go. I believe that Native Americans were in touch with these invisible, well, we call them invisible, these entities, the spiritual world. It's all around us, and through their rituals and everything they did, they opened up these doorways.
It's summer, but it starts to get incredibly cold. Like incredibly cold, to the point that I'm shivering right now because I'm remembering it. And the sea at night, it has that oily feel where you can never really see where the sky ends into the sea. It all becomes like an amorphous mass. It looks at you and it gives you the chills. And it's dark apart from there's no moon, and I guess it's almost like a movie in many ways.
A guy is standing at the door. Now, the guy who's standing at the door said something by way of introduction. I don't have any idea what he said, but he had on dark clothing. He was a man in black. I mean, everything about him. What did Alan, the experienced ufologist, field investigator, occultist, blah, 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 what did I think about it? I didn't. I said, come in. And he sat down and he said something about Ralph Lale. And of course, the obvious first question is, who the hell are you? How the hell did you know where I am? And what the hell are you doing in my room? None of that occurred to me. And, but I don't know his name. I didn't ask. I don't know how he found out where I was or more to the point, where I had been the previous night. Because believe me, there was no one else on that icy road other than Jim Mosley and the Daredevil twins. I mean, it was just not something that rational people would do.
We were looking at that and wondering, is there an effect from geomagnetic energy? And Darian was the one that found just this insane history of violence here.
Oh yeah. When we dug into like what, I guess if you're not from a place that has like epic levels of violence or poverty, it may be kind of surprising. But the history of violence in Somerset goes way, way back. We were trying to figure out how it was seen from the outside, like to get a scale, to get a kind of an idea of the scale of it. And so we started looking into like the Cincinnati newspapers and seeing how they were reporting violence in Kentucky in general. And we found, man, it goes so far back. Even in the late 1800s, there are just headlines about Somerset's reign of terror and, all of the it's like the 10th murder in 7 days or something.
So what he's referring to, and I could be very mistaken here, the ferryman, Ferryman, is what you should be looking for.
Okay.
That was part of the understanding that the explanation I was given was ferryman, not corpsman. But that could be that part of the, just like in Hellier with the goblins being called 700 different names.
Yeah.
It could be the same situation. Here we call them, that's what we call them over here. So if you look into it and you look into Ohio specific lore and you look into some Native American lore, you'll find some pretty interesting articles about them pretty quick.
A popular theory that I discovered on Reddit, where there's like a Reddit thread all about the Hollow Earth. Mm-hmm. And there's this thing about there being like 7 entrances to the Hollow Earth.
Yep.
Oh, you knew about this. Okay.
Yeah. No, but go on.
Okay. Well, I don't. So you probably know way more about it than I do. I just was kind of going off. But supposedly, like the big theory is that the Mammoth Cave is one of those 7 entrances to the Hollow Earth. That Symes, if that's his name, moved to Kentucky because he knew this and was actually exploring the cave trying to find that entrance.
Yeah, and so that also makes me think of going back to the spirit of place, or the magic of place too is people go to Skinwalker Ranch and they're like, wow, I had these really crazy experiences and I really enjoyed it, and then there are other people who are like, oh hell no. Like, I don't need to go there, or they have this really horrible encounter.
Yeah.
So it's just finding what place are you energetically compatible with. And so, I don't know, I really need to get out to Utah and that whole area and, hike it.
Amazing. I was really hoping that you were going to say something about the Furby and a Mitten, because I'm so sad that wasn't recorded.
I couldn't leave it alone. I had to.
So I was in my bedroom. It was the middle of the night, and I remember that I wasn't really tossing or turning or trying to sleep. I was just very comfortably lying in bed. And I rolled over, and out in the hallway, I saw an old woman. And there was no old woman in the house. People have said, like, well, was it your grandma? No, it was not my grandma. No old women were in my house. And she had a bathrobe on, she had slippers, and she had like crazy bed head. And I remember she just was very slowly walking through the hallway, and she stopped and turned to stare at me for probably only a second or two. It felt much longer, but it was very, very short. And then she just turned and continued walking towards what's our linen closet. So it took me about 2 seconds before I screamed for my mom. And the interesting part about it is that, my mom came running, of course, but she actually ran through the old woman.
I lived in Eastern Kentucky for a while. We owned a bakery in Eastern Kentucky. About once a week, I would go to our food distributor, which was about 2 hours north, but still in Eastern Kentucky. One time I was traveling back to our business. It was in a small town called Whitesburg. And I was traveling back with the product in the back of the car. But I was going around this curve at one point. It's daytime. It's like probably 3 p.m., I would say. It's like just early afternoon, where in Eastern Kentucky, the shadows start falling because of how high the mountains are. But it was still daylight. And I turned this corner,
And above the mountain right in front of me is this giant silver, for lack of a better term, UFO. It was slightly elongated. It wasn't a perfect, circular shape. It was slightly elongated. But other than that, it looked like a classic 50s UFO.
I'm in the opposite room outside of where India is. She's sitting down listening to the spirit box, and if you're familiar with the SS method, you have someone who asks the questions and someone who receives them and answers anything that they hear through the spirit box with noise-canceling headphones so you can't hear the person asking the questions. I'm asking questions, and I'm actually hearing really weird things going on in this room, like I'm hearing walking and stuff like that. And India a few times answers me absolutely directly. It was really freaky.
You said,
I'm like,
where are you right now? And I immediately say, I'm right in front of you. And it's like I could not have done that again if I tried.
And I'm whispering, so there's literally no way she could even hear me, right?
I've had a couple when I was quite young. The first one would have been when I was maybe, I think, 5 or 6. And it was in my parents' house, the house I grew up in. And I remember I was going up the stairs to see my mom for whatever reason. She was in the bedroom. And I remember when I was walking up the stairs, I got this really bad feeling. And I looked behind me and I saw this human figure, but it was totally black, like a solid black shadow.
When we went to get our packs and put them on, the silence was broken by like a whistle. It kind of sounded like a bird, but more like something mimicking a bird.
Or like an alarm. Or,
yeah, like
something
it just,
more mechanical.
It didn't sound natural, but it sounded like it was supposed to be a bird or something. If that makes any sense.
You know what's so crazy? This place, okay, it's got the vibes and stuff. It doesn't feel evil to me like Skinwalker Ranch. It feels very ancient, elemental, but it's really weird because when the sun is out, it feels so peaceful and beautiful, and it's a beautiful place. But the second like a cloud hits the sun and it gets dark, like you feel the energy shift instantly. I can't imagine what it's like when the sun is going down and you're seeing it and then it's gone. Like, I'm sure it's completely a different place at night, which is probably why I had that dream telling me not to go out there.
So I decided to drive, and I was with my husband, and it was like 3 in the morning. We're just like getting, on the road, and Mount Shasta was glowing. And when I say glowing, like, when you drive past the city from kind of far away and the city will glow because of streetlights? So it was like that, but Mount Shasta doesn't have a city. And it was where Mount Shasta City is like the very, very base of the mountain. It's a very small community, and this was up high, like relatively high up the mountain. And I thought I was hallucinating, and I said to my husband, I was like, do you see that? And he was like, yeah, I do. What do you think it is? So we're trying to rationalize it, and I'm like, there's a ski slope up there. Maybe they left all the lights on or something. And he was like, yeah, but wouldn't that just light up half the mountain? Because it's only on a partial part of the mountain and doesn't go up that high. And so we're both sat there, kind of scratching our heads. And then all of a sudden, this thing leaves the mountain, like a light, and then the glow goes away.
The mist followed him, and the mist drove itself into the neighbor's backyard, and then the connected backyard to that neighbor's backyard, and just kept going. My neighbor across the street remembers the fog to this day. We both do, but he never saw the little gray guy inside of it. But we were both, it's just puzzling enough that this cloud just rolled through the backyard, so that was enough for him to remember. Yeah.
This is what reminds me when people in the UFO community now say we're a computer, was it simulation or something? Because they're flickering. Being a computer simulation is just the latest surface idea. There used to be devils and angels, and then it was rocket ships. I believe when they're perceiving something flickering, they're actually seeing the truth about how reality is created in these flickers. But they're associating it with a computer. But I don't think it's a computer simulation at all. It's just that they happen to be perceiving reality as it actually gets created by this flickering, this constant, each instant. We're coming in and out of reality.
I say that very loosely because I have a very loose definition of what an alien is. I'm not convinced that a lot of paranormal activity that has been suggested to be ghosts isn't aliens. I'm not convinced that Bigfoot is not a fairy. I'm pretty convinced that Bigfoot's a fairy. I think a lot of our language separates things that actually overlap quite a bit. So that's why I say my definition of an alien is very loose.
Until next time, keep the fire going.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Patreon exclusive live stream. If you notice on the bookshelf, I have a few of my new treasures that I got from Josh Van Hook at the Goblin Market down at Dandyland a couple weeks ago. There is this awesome, I'll show them to you. This awesome Bigfoot model here that he's done. He's kind of like wonky-eyed, but Josh knows that and he understands that and he's happy with it, and I'm very happy with it. I love the way that it turned out, and the detail work is just amazing on all of them. This is one that he didn't he actually has videos of him making this stuff, right? This one he doesn't have a video of, so this is kind of exclusive, but it's he called it Alien Autopsy, right? So he said he spent a lot of time modeling the alien and then he just covered it up. And so I really am curious what it looks like under there. But I'm not going to ruin it by tearing the paper off. And, I don't want to ruin it. It looks awesome the way it is. The last one is one that I was just totally taken aback by. I love that it's in like a little dome. But it's the Moss Man, and there is a video of this as well. Just terrific. I love them so much. So much. I'm glad that they have a home with me, and Josh is happy that I have them, and it was great to support his work, and his hobbies. The End of the Trail Hobby Studio. You can find it on YouTube, and you can see how those are made, and I've watched them, and they're pretty cool. So subscribe to that. Got to meet and hang out with Matthew Bird, which was tremendous. We had a little adventure with his wonky GPS, and he was telling me when we met up, he was telling me the story about coming down and the GPS acting all crazy and everything. And we left to go to a Dollar General to pick up some Sharpie markers, and like we got some snacks and some water. And it takes us like this big long curvy road. Like Dan's place is out in the middle of nowhere, so it's gonna be goofy to get back to civilization anyway. But it takes us on this windy trail, which was not the way I came in, and we got there fine. Like it took us right to a Dollar General, right to the one that he had marked. When we left is when it got weird, because you'd think it's just going to give us the most direct route both times. And it should have done that the first time. So, we go back to Dandyland, and it's a different route. And the route is turn out of the parking lot, take a left, go down the road like a mile or something, take a right, and it takes you right to Dandyland. So we're looking at it and we're thinking, like, what is going on? Why did it take us on this windy path way out of the way? And we're talking about it, and we're talking again about the geomagnetics of Somerset. And we're almost to the farm, like where you can see the hill. And there's this drive off of the road. And it's just a drive. It might have been a house there. It might be a farm drive, like a field drive, whatever. It tells us to turn onto that, make a U-turn, and turn left out of it. So we're like, just go straight. Like, it's right there. You can see it. Like, why is it wanting to do this? But it was nuts. His GPS is crazy down there. I didn't have that issue at all. I had some other issues Saturday morning. That was not one of them. So, yeah. And, caught up with Penny Royal guys and Beyond Sight. Just all a great time. Met Dan again and talked to him for a little bit. It was a nice hot day. It was warm. But it was a lot of fun and a lot of good people. I do have some video of Dandyland that I will be putting out soon. I don't know when. I haven't had a chance to edit it yet. I've been working on the season 1, season 2 recap video that I played at the start for like 2 weeks because I'm just want to get it just right. That's the way I like it. And I thought it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. And I'm glad I got to share that with everybody. What else? What else? I feel like it's been so long since we've been here together. I think adventure wise, that's been about it. So I need to talk to Matthew more to get some information. So okay, Friday night, I'm down in Somerset. I stopped as soon as I got there, Kyle's museum, because I really had to go to the bathroom. I've been holding it for like 2 hours and I couldn't check into my hotel yet. So I thought I was run to the museum. Kyle wasn't there, which was fine. So I talked to his employee there for a little while. She's always super fun and nice. And like I left there, it was time to go back to the hotel. I went to the hotel, got checked in, all that good stuff. And that evening I went up to Jarfly and I was like, I'll go up and hang out with Morgan because Morgan's always bartending there every time I've been there. And Morgan's great. And we talked about some weird stuff, some really weird stuff. And Hellier / Pennyroyal tangent stuff, which was eye-opening. I think maybe I need to have Morgan on the show sometime. I think that'd be great. So I had three beers at Jarfly over the course of like 3 hours. And I also ate while I was there. So I'm like, I was feeling fine. Like I wasn't buzzed, wasn't anything. I was good. I normally have 2 when I'm there. If I go to Jarfly, I have 2. I had 3 and I was fine. I was totally sober. I had stopped drinking for a while before I left. Like I'm not going to drink, and drive because I don't want to do that, especially I don't want to hurt anybody, but especially I don't want to get DUI and end up in a jail in Kentucky next to Amy and have to do that. So I go back to the hotel. I'm still good. I got in the jacuzzi because I basically I paid $80 for 2 Friday night, Saturday. Yeah, 2 nights. And I got the jacuzzi king suite because I had such a huge discount going on. So I sprung for that. Why not, right? Have a good time, enjoy life. And so I got in the jacuzzi and I watched Bruce Almighty, not all of it. It was like half over and I didn't even finish it in the jacuzzi, but I was in there for, 10 or 15 minutes, whatever. Had a good soak. Still feeling fine. I go to bed. I'm feeling good. I get a call at midnight from the front desk and she wakes me up and I didn't even answer the phone at first, but since it was the hotel room phone, I'm like, that's weird. Like I'll call down to the desk. So I did. And she goes, yeah, I just tried to call you. Sorry to bother you. Is your jacuzzi tub on? And I said, no. And she said, do you have water coming through your ceiling? And I said, no. She said, is there any other water in your room that's running? And I said, no. And she said, well, I've got water coming down to the next floor below you. And I said, it's not me, and really I felt bad for her because she didn't have any idea. Like all she would have had to have done was see where the water's coming, like what room it's coming into. And then, look at the floor plan, right? And look what's above that. Because I was directly above the lobby. If it wasn't in the lobby, it wasn't from me. But anyway, so I go back to sleep. I wake up at 3 something. It was like 3:40 something, 3:50 something. I was still fine. Totally fine. I'm like, all right, I've got some time. I was going to get up at 6:30 and I'm like, I'm going to go back to sleep. Had my alarm. I double checked it. Everything was cool. I get up at 6:28, 2 minutes before my alarm, with the absolute worst hangover I have ever had in my entire life. It was like there was a sword being driven through my head. So I slowly get something passable on. I'm going to go down to the restaurant in the hotel and get some breakfast. Like maybe I'll feel better. So I go down and I eat, come upstairs. I sit on the bed to start to get ready. And I'm like, oh no, and off to the bathroom I went, and I got sick. Felt a little bit better. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to, get around. So I brushed my teeth, and I went back to the room, sat down, put my socks on, and I was like, oh, no. Back again, and I got sick again. So the next hour and 45 minutes or so was spent trying to get dressed. Like, my head hurt that bad. And I managed to get over to the store. I picked up some like Excedrin migraine or something like to help, and some water. And it was awful. And I show up to Dandyland at like 9:30. So this whole process has taken 3 hours. I get there, and I both look and feel like I'd been ran over by a truck. Like, it was just brutal. And it was already pretty warm too, even 9:30. I said it got up in the 90s, I think, that day. And I go over, first person I see is Josh. I go over and I'm talking to Josh and looking at his stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I don't feel well. Like, it's almost like I am rough today. Like, I'm gonna go sit over here with Kyle, drink some water, and just try to get over this. And so the next person that I meet, and I felt so bad, the t-shirt design that has like the face with the headphones and the beard, and it's all made out of words. Friday night, she had messaged me on Twitter and asked me if I was going to be going to the Goblin Market, and I said, yeah. She goes, would it be cool if I'm there while you're there? Like, if I come up and say hi? I was like, absolutely. Like, I'd be upset if you didn't. Like, I'd love to be able to meet you. I didn't even know she lived in Somerset. She lives in Somerset, because there we are. That's how things go. And so she comes up to me, and I might as well have been on the moon. I was so out of it. My head was killing me. My eyes were throbbing. It was awful. And so that conversation had to have just been the worst for her. When I started feeling better later, I sent her a message and I apologized. I said, this is not normal. I would not have normally been this way if I in any way seemed like I did not want to be in that conversation. It is not the case. Like, I just was feeling rough. And anyway, so I spent the day there. Eventually, about noon or so, I started feeling better. We were there all day. I think everybody started leaving, I don't know, between 3 and 4 or something like that. And yeah, the plan was going to be, I was never going to drink again for the rest of my entire life. And I was going to go back to the hotel for a little while, and then go back to Jarfly there was bands, like 3 or 4 bands there or something that night, and everybody was going to meet up there and hang out. I fell asleep before 8 o'clock because I was just so worn out. I didn't get to go to do anything, spend any more time with anybody, which is too bad. I was really looking forward to it. Things happened, I guess. And yeah, no incidents after I woke up. I felt great. Sunday morning, I was feeling good. Made the drive back, no problems. I didn't have any other weird stuff like happen while I was down there. I don't know. I wish that I would have, but it is what it is. Other than the GPS thing and the fact that I did not know Matthew Bird and I drove the same car, just a couple years difference, in manufacture, which was really funny because we took his car to the Dollar General and I sat in it. I'm like, this is almost like my car. Like, this is the same, but different. Like, little things are just a little bit different. It was funny. It's the first time I'd ever been in a different year. So it was great. I had a really good time though, overall, especially once I started feeling better. It was a really good time. And yeah, I can't wait to go back again. I never want to leave when I'm there. And oh, but anyway, the thing where I need to talk to Matthew some more was that I told him, I was feeling rough, and I told him, like, I woke up at 3 something and I was fine. He goes, you woke up at 3 something? And I said, yeah. Why? He goes, so did I. And so did Kyle. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. Why do you think that is? He's like, I'm working on a theory or something along those lines. So I need to talk to Matthew more about that, because I was just not in the state of mind, I guess, to have that conversation right then. Because like I was awful. I felt terrible. I'm gonna look at the comments for the first time now, if that's okay with everybody. Yeah, hot sauce stuff. The one that I have is not super hot. It's a little warm. It's a slow burn, kind of mouth tingle warm. The Carolina Reaper, I fear, is probably really hot. Imagine this graphic in VR. Yeah, that would be really cool. I was really happy with that video. I'm glad that you guys liked it. If this is a computer simulation, I want my money back. This game sucks. This game does suck. Absolutely, it sucks. I think this is about the statues, the stuff I got from Josh. Yes, they are amazing. I was going to ask how many goblins you actually got at the market, but I didn't know the answer would be several. Well, I was going to buy any goblin that I could, and there were none. They must have sold out before I got there, which is a shame. I did, however, act as an accomplice to Matthew Bird to steal a goat from Dan, and then we decided not to. That does not sound like an alcohol hangover. I agree. I don't want to say this in a bad way. I take pride in the fact that I've only had a handful of hangovers in my life, and considering that I was a borderline alcoholic for several years, yeah, it's weird. It's very weird, especially after only drinking the amount that I drank over the course of time that I did while eating food. I don't know. Matthew thinks it's the Somerset water, so maybe 2 beers is my limit of Somerset water. And I don't know. I haven't had another beer since then, but I can't even think about it. It was really, really rough. And maybe it was food. Maybe it was food poisoning, but why was I fine and then really, really bad and then fine again? It's weird. I don't know. It could be food poisoning, could be hangover, could be something totally different. Maybe I just had a really bad headache. I don't know. I have had migraines in the past. It didn't quite feel the same. I've had migraines a lot, actually, and they're different. Like when I have a migraine, I don't go out. I can't go out. I'm like paralyzed, confined to the bed, hoping that I'll throw up to relieve the pressure. So it wasn't like that. It felt like a hangover, but it didn't make sense that it was a hangover. Anyway, yeah, so if you were there and I did not act in a way that you were expecting and I didn't live up to your expectations, let's try it again another time because I was not having a very good day. Anyway, this is the 2-year anniversary party. I went to try to find last night some blue star balloons. I thought that would just be perfect to have, back here. And I did not find any. There was one at this party supply store, but it said like happy first or first birthday or birthday boy or something, like it was like a baby balloon. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. It'd be kind of funny, but let's see. Got some more popping up. Almost seems like psychic vampirism. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Could have been a lot of things. Gastrovirus, you get really sick and recover quickly. You can usually tell because you feel like you did crunches after your stomach muscle. I did not feel that way. No. After I was sick, I was queasy for a little while. And I ate a bag of cashews that I got from the dollar store with Matthew. And I felt a little queasy. It took me a while. And I ate a whatchamacallit candy bar. I took some candy down to everyone. And I had half of it over the course of an hour and then the other half over the course of 45 minutes. That's how sick I was. Just a candy bar. I couldn't even do it. Excuse me. I've been outside all day. The allergies are kicking in really bad. Everything is flowering and blossoming and blooming and throwing their semen into the air. And my nose doesn't like it. What would an anniversary party be without gifts? Gifts. I have a gift for me, and then I have a gift for everybody. We'll do the gift for everybody first because it's more fun. So, in this box is a gift for everyone who is a Patreon member as of right now. Some of these have already been given away to people I've seen in person. And if I haven't seen you in person, make sure you send me your mailing address, email it to me, or social media it to me in a private message. You can private message me on Patreon as well, however you want to do it. Give me your mailing address so I can send you one of these boxes. And inside these boxes, you will have your own bottle of Spooky Garlic Dad Bod Pepper Company hot sauce. It is sealed. I have not opened them and licked them or anything like that. This is factory sealed. It is a small time mom pop type company. However, the sauce is manufactured and bottled according to the recipe with his peppers that he personally grows in an approved food processing facility, and bottled and sealed and all of that. So it's not some dude whipping it up in a bathtub or anything like that. It's real, just like you would buy from a store. It even has a UPC code, and they're on Amazon for sale right now as well. So not this label, but the regular ones are. Also in the box. Now, some of these are going to be a little different, and I do not know what's in what box. But he gave me some stickers of all of the different labels for his different sauces and things. Some of them I didn't have enough of all of them. Some of them I had extra of, and so some of them are going to have 2 of one and not 1 of the other or whatever. Also, I've got one of my business cards with a code that you can go right to our website when you scan it. And he gave me some cards right here. And you would go to his website and there's a discount code. And you like the sauce, you want some more, or you want to try a different one? Perfect. Because you can go and get a discount, which is awesome. Logan was very gracious in that regard. And I know you guys are going to love it if you like hot sauce. I do. I thought it was great. I took it to work and everybody at work loved it. Really good sauce. I'm glad we were able to work this out and do this little pair up, team up and collaboration. And if it goes well and everybody buys all of them that we had made, I'll pay for some more and we'll do it again. He has said that these are the mailers that he mails his sauce out in, and he has never had anyone report a broken bottle. These are supposed to be indestructible through the mail system. That being said, if you get one of these from me and it is broken or it's got a leak or whatever the case, if it is something is wrong with it, let me know and I will get you another one ASAP. I do not want anybody to be like, oh, mine is broken, because that's not cool. That's not what we're aiming to do. And we will take care of that. Now on to my present. I received this in the mail today, fittingly. From my good friend Adam Towla. Also, yes, the plants are pervs. And so Adam had on his last live stream a giveaway, and I happened to win the Patreon prize. So if you want to get one of this or something like this, find Adam and make sure you join his Patreon, because he does giveaways all the time and he has really great stuff. And so I want to see what else is in here, because it feels like there's more than one thing. There might not be. It might just be the packaging. But at any rate, I want to show you all what he has sent me. Oh, I think I know what I was feeling now. Oh, there are 2 things. He sent me a card. Adam sends me the best and nicest cards. I love Adam. What a great guy. I'm so glad that he is one of the guests that I've gotten to meet doing this show. Because we talk and we have a lot of fun, and we need to get together and do something else soon together. So this is what I won. It is a print of, I don't think this is a painting that he's done. It might be. I need to look and see for sure. I don't remember, but I think he might have taken the picture. Maybe he did paint it. I need to find out. I don't remember, but I love it. And I'll have to put it up in here somewhere so that we can all enjoy it together. I'm not going to read the card out loud if it's personal. Oh my God. I love this. Oh, this is the coolest thing I've seen. Oh my God. Hold on. I want to read the card and I'll show it to you. I'm not going to read the whole card because it is personal. I will read the PS to you. Don't mind my hood ass packaging. Bah. I love this so much. Okay. This is a hand drawn card. All right. Oh my God. How cool is that? The shirt, one of Kyle's museum shirts, hanging out with the Mothman. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, that's why me and Adam are friends. He is the absolute best. Adam, if you're watching this, I will send you some other stuff that I have for you whenever I send you your sauce. I'm sorry for everyone else. Adam is special. We are very close friends. We talk about things that I don't talk about with anybody else. That is the coolest card I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my God. Oh, Adam is great. And it is amazing. It is cool as hell. I want to know who this is. Facebook user. You don't have your name on here. I can't see who you are. Thank you for jumping in. But yeah, that's so good. Oh my God. I love it so much. The anniversary, 2 years. We're coming up on the end of season 3. So I just I recorded an interview today with a recurring guest that you will have very soon this coming week. You'll have the early access to that interview. It is going to be the next episode. I have caught up on my backlog now. And so I think the next episode after that will be one of the earlier live streams, an audio version of when I had Scotty Rorick, and oh my gosh, I'm spacing on her name. She's going to kill me. They came here and we talked. They're both psychics. We talked for a while. I'm going to do that as an episode. I think that will be really good. And then probably a couple of more episodes. And then that will be the end of season 3. On to some other news. I am debating something and I would like your guys' input as well. I've been working on this documentary. Oh my God, this documentary is going to be the death of me for a year, over a year, like a year and 2 months. It was March last year when I started. And I just don't know if I'm going to ever be happy with it. So what I've thought about doing is a very short collection of the locations and things to go along with a book version. After talking to my guest for the next episode today, this is what I've been thinking about all afternoon. I think it would be much easier for me to translate all of this information into a book than it would be to sit and stare and talk and film myself talking for hours on end. So I feel like I would be able to put more into it if I did that. So give me your thoughts on that. If you think that you would read the book, that's the way to go, I feel like. And then I would have all the footage I have, I would go ahead and release that without all of the story, just so that there's companion pieces to it. So when you're reading the story and I'm talking about a spot, you can look at the video and be like, that's a spot. Okay, that makes sense. And I think that would be just a better way for me to do that. And I hate to do that because all the time I've put into this, but I know I'm not going to be happy with it when it comes out. So I think a book would be much easier for me to put out in a way that I would be happy with it. And if I do the book, you're all getting one. Check under your chairs for sure. And I will do signed copies for all the Patreon members at that point, if that's what I end up doing. Either way, when season 3 wraps, that will be the focus. Either I'm going to nail this thing, I'm going to put out the documentary, and that's it, and it's over, or I'm going to do the book, and I should be able to, honestly, based on my research notes and everything I have, I could probably do the book in half the time that I've already spent working on the documentary. Like, I could probably, outside of publishing things, I could probably have it, like, completed and happy with it, before the end of the year for sure. So, yeah, independent publisher, just do it myself and get it put out. I think that would be the way to go. Multimedia approach that Timothy Renner did with the Witch Cloud. I will have to familiarize myself with that. I do like Tim Renner's stuff, but I don't know it all. So yeah, I will look into that. Maybe that's something that we can do. Maybe that's a different way to go about it, or a variation thereof. Because I don't want to just, if it's something that's unique, I don't want to just steal the idea. You know what I mean? Like I can steal the idea of writing a book because everybody and their dog has written a book, and it's but I don't want to steal somebody's unique idea. So anyway, wow, man. Anyway, 2 years. Season 1 is no longer available, as a podcast on the streaming services or whatever, but it is on Patreon and it is free. So if you're talking to somebody about the show, something that's in season 1, just send them to the Patreon. They're on public. Anybody can look at them and listen to them and download them. I think they can download them from there. And I do need to work on putting more of those on YouTube. I think 5 or 6 of them are on YouTube. And then Hair Raising Horror Week 1 is also on the Patreon. Season 2 is still active. I have updated or upgraded my storage space with the podcast host. So I have all season 2, Hair Raising Horror Week 2, and season 3 on there right now. By the time I finish season 3, I'll still have a little bit of space. I should be able to get Hair Raising Horror Week 3 on there. And then when season 4 starts, I'll have to get rid of season 2 and be in that boat. I'm thinking about starting another account and pumping the archived episodes. So like Paranormal Patio season 1 and just putting it out there. That way they can stay on, Spotify and everything. But Apple, it's a personal decision, and I never get tired of saying that. Yeah. I'm looked back at this as I've watched that video probably 3 or 4 times after I made it. Listened to all the episodes again, almost all the way through on all of them. And I can't believe how far that I feel like I've come. Because when we started, John and I started, Paranormal Patio was just a thought that we had. Like maybe we'll try this and maybe it'll be something, but who knows? And we had PlayStation 3 headsets to record with on a Chromebook in my actual patio. If it was cold, if the weather was bad, we didn't get to do it. There was no scheduling. It was whenever we can. It'll go up whenever. Yeah. And as fun as it was, the structure is what I needed to really better myself, because I needed, episode to improve, in my perspective, improve the things I needed to improve on. I think that the sound quality of the podcasts have gone up tremendously, especially with season 3. Having the studio has helped a lot. Also, having better equipment has helped a lot, and just doing it and learning how to make things better for as cheap as possible. And I feel like it's something that if you do this type of thing, that you'll run into. You're like, man, I just don't like the way this is, And if you're a podcaster, or you're thinking about being a podcaster and you'd like some help to improve to at least the standard that I now hold my episodes to, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you out. I can make your audio sound at least like my audio does. So whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but I can at least help you get it to sound like what I have. And I'd be more than happy to help out with that. What else can we talk about, man? Because the guests have been amazing. I've met a lot of great people, and I continue to meet great people, and I continue to stay in touch with great people. The recurring guest for this upcoming episode was really great to see someone who I met, last year, and they had one specific thing that they were working on, and now they're working on another thing, and it's huge. And I'm really happy for them to see people grow in this community, right? And it just makes me feel good, to keep up with these people and meet great people. Have Adam send me amazing hand-drawn cards because he's so great. Oh my God, I love that so much. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm really happy to also get these hot sauces to you guys. I wanted to do something that was different, like a unique giveaway for everyone. And that'd be fun, and I know someone who is starting a business, and I can help that out. I can help you guys out. And yeah, he's selling them too for me with my label on his website. So it's up, I don't get that money, but it's helping spread awareness of the podcast, right? So I love helping people. I love genuine, good things, good natured things, you know? This makes me feel really good. I'm in the spot that I'm in. I'm very grateful and appreciative because while the rest of my life spirals downward into absolute utter chaos, I at least have this to fall back on at my worst times and be like, yeah, at least I'm accomplishing something that people are able to grasp and grab onto and make a part of their lives. And if it makes their day a little bit better to listen to me yammer on with someone about goblins and ghosts and magic and everything, that's great. If I can be some aspect of entertainment and joy in your life, I'm there for it. And I can't wait to keep being there for it. Things are only going to go up and get better. It was really kind of sad, like watching that video for the first time of all the guests and like a little clip from each one, like because it felt like I was making like a eulogy or something, like the show is over, especially when I did thank you for 2 wonderful years or great years or whatever. I was like, oh no, like I feel like I'm just saying goodbye and like I'm gonna write this off and it's all over. But that's not the case at all. I'm still here. I'm here for the long haul. We have tons more that we have to learn together and to come together on. And that's the real gift, I guess. The real anniversary present is knowing that we have so much more ahead of us and so many more ways to improve ourselves and to try to improve the world. It's a rough place right now, especially. And I think it's just, you have to have that mentality, that goodness brings goodness, and you get what you put out, you get what you give. And if you need and want goodness, then you have to be you have to do good things for other people and it'll come around. That's karma. And if you do bad things for bad reasons to good people, then that's karma too. You're going to get that back. So all of that being said, I'm really happy with the show. I'm in a good spot with the show, and I can't wait to keep growing with all of you guys and spending time with you. I feel like this has been a long time coming. Like I feel like it's been forever since we were here. We do have another live stream coming up at the end of the month. Guests to be determined. I'm still weighing a few different options. I'd still like to get Kevin and Jessica from Beyond Sight back on, and I think that will be my priority because they had to cancel, a couple of months ago. So, yeah, that's probably going to be my priority. Beyond that, last night I found some information in research that led me to another nearby potential investigation spot. There is an Indian mound, Native American mound, like 40 minutes from my house. And it's in what is now like a preservation park, a Native American history and preservation park. And in this park, there are wood carvings, modern wood carvings. One of the wood carvings is a Bigfoot, and how fitting. So I want to go check this place out, and if it's cool, I will definitely consider, if I have the ability to live stream from my cell phone there, doing a live stream there, I think would be really interesting because I didn't think we had any mounds near here, and we do. Also, if you've been following me on social media, this book had come up in my research several times just from like names and situations and things. And I would find like a reference to it in this book. And I was able to track one of these books down. It's called Cavern of Crime by Judy McGee. She was the head writer of the Livingston Ledger in Smithland, Kentucky. But the book isn't about Smithland, Kentucky. It's mentioned a few times. It's mostly about the Shawnee Forest in southern Illinois, which, longtime listeners know is my favorite place in the world. Yes, so I have it. I read it. I've made a lot of notes. Inside the cover, there is a map. It's on the inside of both the front and the back cover. I scanned this entire book because this is not in the best of shape, and there are very few of them floating around online. Somebody else that I scanned it, I'd emailed and said, I have this book scanned if you'd like a copy. And she said, I have found one online. And to my knowledge, these were the last two that were online. But I will add the scans to a Patreon post for all of you. So if you're interested in some of the Native American lore, the river pirate history of the Shawnee Forest of Southern Illinois along the Ohio River, I recommend it. It's a short read. It's only 80 some pages, I think. But yeah, I'll put a zip file up on Patreon for you to download and read at your leisure, because it's a hard book to find. I will give you the warning. This book was written in a time where language was used differently. Native American does not show up once. It is all Indian. And there is one instance of a quote of the N-word. Someone said this sentence, which contained this word. It is not used, I feel, in a derogatory way other than it existing. It is not used as an insult. But that withstanding, this little old woman wrote this book in 1973 or whatever year it was. I've got to leave, unfortunately, but this was really cool. I wish I knew who you were. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping in. Come hang out with us again. Tried to find the book, but it was unavailable. Right. Internet Archive loses its court case. I'm going to start a black market of out-of-print PDFs. Hell yes. There's a lot that I want. There's a lot that's on Scribd, and I found a lot. I'm reading 3 books on Scribd right now for surface research. So, yes, that will be available. So if you want to read it, it's awesome. There's a lot of pictures in there of Shawnee, Illinois, or Shawnee Forest, Illinois, Cave in Rock, and a lot of Native American stuff. There's a mound that is I think it's on the map. I'm pretty sure it's on the map. If not, it's described, called Dutton Mound. And so I immediately sent that to Nathan to send to Dan. I thought it was weird. Like, what a weird coincidence. This was right before or right after I went down to Dandyland. So that's interesting. We'll see where that goes. I need to see if it's still around, if it's on private land or what the case is. There are also several caves in Shawnee Forest that I was unaware of. Whether or not they're accessible today, I don't know. This is 50 years ago. So we'll have to see. According to the map, I've been really near them and didn't even know. So I'm going to plan on going down to Shawnee for a few days. I'd like to do that before it gets super hot. Camp out down there and see what kind of weirdness I can come into. It'd be really cool to get a few people together, because I don't want to do that on my own. That's too weird down there. And there's a lot of people that are not nice people sometimes. I don't want to get robbed or shot or whatever. Anyway, I think that's all I've got, really. I really wanted to get that video out to everyone, and I will make that a public YouTube video tonight, probably. And I'll put it on all the social media because I liked it, and I thought it was a good way to wrap up 2 years with the first 2 seasons and, share that with everyone. Just some of my favorite clips from each episode. Oh, man, I'm in love with that card so much. I got to go write Adam a love letter. I love it. I love it so much. All right. Well, for everyone else, Patreon will have the new episode next week. It will have the Cavern of Crime book on there for everyone. And I checked, the woman has passed away. So, I mean, which in the picture in the back, she was fairly old in 1970, whatever. So I didn't expect her to be alive, but she has passed away. So I do not feel bad violating that copyright to put that out there for free. I'm not going to sell it, but I don't have a problem sharing it with you guys. So you can read it if that's part of your interest. I learned a lot about a lot of things with Shawnee Forest there. So I think if you have any interest at all, that's definitely something you should look at, because why not? I've done the work for you. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. And thank you for 2 wonderful years. And I can't wait to do this again next year for 3 years. You know, what kind of crazy VR video will I have by then? You know, who knows? So until next time, you know, keep the fire going.